We're live. Books
Okay.
and beer.
A little bit of a hiatus.
A little bit of
okay.
hiatus.
That's
I don't
okay.
have beer tonight. I got wine.
Well, we've learned some things that maybe some people get headaches when they drink beer, and that's not a crime. That's not a crime. So, if somebody wants to drink wine and talk about books, I ain't got no problem with that.
No problem with that.
All right. By the way, you look really dapper. Where'd you get the cardigan?
Thanks. I've had it for a while.
Oh.
Got a tie. It's Christmas time, or it's almost Valentine's Day, so I got a gift. Got to look dapper. Maybe I'll get a box of chocolates. Who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe some beer. Where do you
Oh
drink
yeah. So I got a Hoegaarden today. I quickly ran to the convenience store and I got 4 different kinds of beer, and I said, you know what? Ooh, hot dog. I think I might enjoy myself a Hoegaarden while we talk about ancient philosophy.
Well, they always say Hoegaarden and philosophy goes well
Yes.
together. So.
Absolutely.
So what are we talking about tonight?
Okay, cool. So, oh, goodness. The beat goes on. So, what we're talking about tonight is something that I've wanted to talk about, but I was like, it's not a heavy book, but I want to talk about the Symposium. There's a lot of stuff by Plato and about, ancient Greece philosophy. That's where it really started. But a lot of people would point to other books, but I wanted to talk about the Symposium.
Okay, so the Symposium is by who?
Mm-hmm. So the Symposium is by Plato, who's, I guess you can say, the best student of Socrates. Socrates didn't write stuff down, so Plato decided to write everything about him and his philosophies. So, I mean, it's kind of like, I don't know if this will make sense, but what was it? Lao Tzu from the Tao Te Ching. Lao Tzu is the philosopher. Someone else wrote all of the transcripts and everything. So Plato was the man who took everything down. Plato said, or Socrates said, and Plato put his own philosophy down as well. So yeah.
Follow that. So the Symposium. Why should I read a philosophy book from ancient Greece?
Okay, cool. So they cover a lot of topics. There's lots of different books. They talk about piety. They talk about government. But I really want to talk about the Symposium because it's actually entertaining. I wanted to talk about the Republic really, really badly, but I'm really bored, and I think I'm done. I don't think I'm going to finish it. It's a great conversation on politics, justice, what makes a good government, and I'm like, I can't. It's so boring because it's before literary forms and everything. So it's just kind of like an ongoing conversation, and I did this, and I did this, and what about this? Yes, yes, yes. So I don't know, it's kind of tough to read. Maybe it's more of like a poem form in ancient Greek. But the reason why the Symposium is more entertaining is because people are talking about what the word is in Greek is eros, like in arrow, as in Cupid, but it's translated as in love. But what they're talking about is passion, lust, like that fury you get for someone. And of course, this is ancient Greece. So they talk a lot about homosexuality and also, I don't know if we would call it pedophilia, but because back then, I mean, a 13-year-old, I mean, that was kind of considered a man.
Prime age.
Yeah.
Back then.
So there are people who talk in the Symposium. Many of these great thinkers talk in it. It's a giant dialogue, and some of them talk about many different kinds of love that today we're open about, and we're not open about at all. So it's very entertaining and interesting.
So is it a book primarily on eros?
Mm-hmm.
Or
So it's a book, and that's like a thing that what I love about these and a lot of Plato's stories is that I don't really think it's about eros or it's about, philosophy. It's about conversation. I mean, even with the Republic that I'm reading now, it talks a lot about the government, but something that's lost, because this ancient philosophy was about, the conversation, trying to find truth. And a lot of it, you just don't discover, but you have to keep trying. You have to form opinions. You have to try to persevere with this hunt for knowledge. And with this, it's one of those things where they don't really find out what love is, but everyone says something. And some of them is really interesting. Aristophanes is absolutely fascinating. He was a famous, satirical playwright. I mean, potentially he could have been jailed or exiled because he got very political and offended a lot of politicians. But his was really good, what he had to say about love. But what's so enjoyable about it is the fact that it's just a conversation. These people meet, they eat, they drink, they exercise, and they exchange ideas. And I don't think that's really a part of modern philosophy, which is more of that, I figured it out. This is the truth. End a conversation. It was all about having the dialogue and also participating in a community. I think they're really rich things that, is missing with a lot of philosophy, because back then it was about having the conversation compared to, I guess these books were meant to say, let's talk, compared to, let's divide and hate each other. Yeah.
So it's all a book about love.
Yes. Yeah.
All in all forms.
Yeah. Well, maybe not all forms. It's also really interesting because they don't really talk about male on female relationships as much as you might think. Aristophanes talks about the split of the gender, and it's fascinating. It's really cool. But otherwise, a lot of times they're talking about passion for men.
That begs the question, what is love?
Baby, don't hurt me.
Right?
Don't hurt me.
No
more.
So anyways, I guess we gotta cheers to that on that. What is love? Ancient Greece people, they don't know. Nobody knows.
Yeah.
So, hey, I've been Zach.
Hey, this is still Tom.
And this is Drinks and Beers.
Hey, cheers. That was
Drinks and
smooth.
books.
Drinks and... Oh, okay. Drinks and books. That still works. Hey, cheers.
I said it backwards. Anyway.